Hello everyone. On this video, I'm going to show you guys how to start off with the mapping lesson, right? So just letting you guys know, this mapping lesson is really simple, straightforward, but I know it might be difficult because it's going to be your first mapping lesson, right? So I'm creating this video to try to walk you through the steps because obviously I'm not going to be able to be in class, but I hope this video you guys find it helpful and you guys can look into it. Um, so the map, the directions are going to be in Power School. So once you open the directions, you're going to see that we're going to do Module One, Lesson One. That's going to be in Power School, and then there's going to be this mapping lesson, which they give you a map already, and then they're going to ask you to play with the map. You know, you're not going to really modify, but just be able to know where stuff is in the map, turn on, turn off, and whatnot, so you can get more familiar with the software. All right, so there's mapping lesson. You can scroll down. I believe there's like 15 pages, and there's questions, right? So the questions are the ones that are going to be actually collecting or looking over to see if you were actually getting the right answer. So and then they also have pictures of what your map should look like. So that should be really simple. You can read it, but also if you want to see it, right? So I might not finish the entire mapping lesson, but at least I want to start off and then give you the first couple questions, and then I'm just gonna give you guys the answers. All right, because it's really important that you get familiar with this mapping lessons because we're gonna be doing this a lot throughout the semester. All right. So the first module one, lesson one, is gonna talk about Malagan across the Atlantic. So I'm gonna provide us a slide presentation, right? A little background on that. But just getting to the map, right? My screen's kind of small because what I do with my when I do mapping lessons, I have directions in one page, and I like to start out the map in a different window and then have them side to side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So the first thing you're gonna do, they already have the map here, so ArcGIS, and it's a link. So what I do is open it, right click, and I open it in a new tab or a new window. I'm gonna go ahead and do a new window, and once I open it, this is what the map is gonna look like. All right. So I want you to know that once you open this map, this stuff already on this map, someone already kind of created this map, right? You can see in details because it has continents, but you can go ahead and click content, and then you're gonna see all the layers of information, right, that are in this map, right? So I'm gonna make it small, and then put it like right here, and I'm gonna make direction small, and I'm gonna have them side to side so I can work with both, right? So the first thing you want to do, guys, the directions is gonna give you the option whether you saved your work or not. I will suggest you all the time get used to signing in, right? If you're not gonna save your work, you're eventually gonna have to click modify map, and then it should be fine, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and sign in. That way I can save a map and I can, work with my map and keep going. Right? So I'm gonna click sign in, and I'm gonna put my logins. You guys should have your login. Your username is gonna be your email, right? And then I'm gonna put my password. And notice once I sign in, it's gonna say Hugo, right? And then it just reloads, right? So now I'm signing to my account, right? And the map, guys, it starts like that, and I like to always have it in a show content of the map, right? But that's one of the steps. So first thing you have to do, open the map, right? And then I suggest you log in with your name, and then here's the map, right? And then look for the following. You see your map, click modify link. So obviously I don't have the modify link because I already signed in, so don't have to worry about that. So task two, enlarge your map. So it's right here, but like I said, I'm not gonna have it. This is what enlarge means, just make it a full window. But like I said, we're gonna be working side to side, so I don't want to enlarge that. So question one, just opening the map, right? Just in here, you have one question already. Um, First of all, we're talking about the continents. Europe is touching the continent of what? So if you look at your map, you can scroll down. This is Europe, right? So Europe obviously is not touching Africa because there's a body of water between that. So the answer will be Asia, right? So Europe is touching Asia. So in here, I'll give you a hint with the underlines. So Asia, and then the blank ocean separates the continent of blank from South America. So we scroll, we'll find South America. So we have two options, right? We have the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. So uh, ocean separates a continent of, and then this is see Africa. So in here, what ocean separates the Africa from South America? And the answers will be here, Atlantic. If the answer is not obvious, it's because you don't have the right layers on there, right? You don't have to Google it. It should be all the answers should be in the map. Lastly, the blank ocean separates a continent from North America from blank. So I know we're going to be talking about North America. So once again, you have two options. The ocean separates the continent of North America from blank. So I'm just gonna go ahead and guess. And then you can see Asia, ASIA. So it's Asia. So what separates North America and Asia? The Pacific Ocean. So it's right here we Pacific. So you're done with number three or number one. I'm sorry. So now task three, locate the islands, also known as Moluccas. Right. So we're talking about this Maligan, his expeditions through the ocean, right? So the first thing you want to do in here, that's a big thing that has been bothering me, that you want to show the context, right? So you want to show what kind of layers there's in there. So right now it's on about this map, right? But in here, the middle one, show context on the map. When you click that, you can have all the layers that's there on the map. So that's really helpful. So I'm not gonna read every single one, right? But just know that I'm just gonna show you guys. So look at the contents. You have 10 different layers. Each one of these is a layer, right? The ones checked, that means they're turned on, and the ones unchecked to the left, that means that they're turned off. All right, so that's really important. So in here, it says turn on the Moluccas Island by clicking the box. So we found the layer Moluccas Islands. I'm gonna go ahead and click it. When we click it, something happens to the map. You see, I read, I'm sorry, I read overlay in some part of Asia, right? So, okay, so it's gonna be right here. We have our map, here, and then we zoom into there, and then we're like, okay, so that's where they're telling us to look at, right? So, you can click on the islands, and then you're gonna have a pop-up of information. So you just click anywhere it's red, but make sure you click where it's red. If you click somewhere else, then you're not gonna get the same information. So click on the red, and then Moluccas and Indonesia. So right. So what is the name of the continent where Moluccas are found? So we're thinking about the continent. So this is the city, Indonesia, and then you notice on the top it says 1 out of 7. You can actually uh, click next feature, so there's more information to this map. And then the continents, guys, it's Asia, right? So here, where's the continent? So that will be letter C, Asia, right? And then there's more information about the islands. It's 7 windows, so you're looking at the first window out of that. So go ahead and close a pop-up. That's really important, right? Because not a lot of information fits in here. So that's why you click on it, you have a lot more information. So now they're asking you turn on major latitudes and longitudes, right? So we talked about that in the presentation. We found that layer, major latitudes and longitudes. I'm gonna go ahead, turn it on. It's gonna take a while. And there it is. So you have these lines that divide the world. So the question is, what major line the latitude passes through the island, right? Circle the correct answer. So we know this is the islands, and we see the line going across it. So we don't know what it is. We can always click on it. This is like, oh, major line. It's the equator, right? So in here will be letter B, equator, right? So it says now you have to turn off major lines, right? And then you want to turn off and follow the directions, turn off, because it might get a lot confusing if you turn on the layers, all of the layers, they might be overlapping, and then the answer might not be as simple or straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off major latitudes and longitudes to get rid of that. So now we're going to go into task 4, which is we're going to view Maligan's route. So they're asking me to turn on countries. So find countries. Here it is. Turn on. There it is. and it takes a while, and then your map changes, right? Turn off continents by clicking next to continents. So continents, I'm gonna turn off continents. We're gonna turn on Maligan start, so where did he started, and then I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see what happens to the map. So Maligan stops start. So I'm gonna click the box to the left of the name, and then that's how you turn it on. So now we have a red star, which that means that's the start. Now we're gonna see his route. So turn on the route. So stops here, Mulligan's route. Click on that. So now it has a route that he took all around the world globe. And so notice it start. So now we have his route where he start off, right? So it says 21, click on the red star on the map. What that means, that's the start where he started his trip. So go ahead and click on the start. That's really important. If you need to zoom in, guys, go ahead and zoom in. Because, for example, if I click here, it might be that something we're not supposed to. So click on the start. And then here is the start, Seville, right? So what is the name of the city where Maligan started his boat trip? So the city name, Seville, right? So that will be question 4. That's the answer. What country is this city in? So now they're asking you about the country, right? So country name, Spain, right? So Seville, Spain. Really simple, guys. I know this might be like too simple, but actually what you're learning is where the stuff is at in the software. So go ahead and close out the pop-up window, and then scroll down. It says turn on major latitudes and longitudes. All right, so we already had turned that on. So let's turn it on again. Let me zoom out a little bit. So let's see the question. All right, so Maligan started on the right star, traveled west. So he started here and went that way, went to the left, right? How many times did he cross the equator and then return to the starting point? So his trip was a whole circle. So he went all around, came back, and then went again to Spain. So once again, if you're not sure, in here it says equator. This is this line right here. Let's see. The equator. So it's right here. It's a horizontal line. So I ask you, how many times did he cross that line? So let's follow his path. That's what I would do. You go down 1, and then goes down, and then goes up. Let's say 2, and then goes down 3, and goes down South Africa and up again 4 times. So he crosses the equator 4 times. So this will be letter D, 4 times, right? And then, did Maligan spend most of the time on the north of the equator or south of the equator? So, what do you guys think? So, here starts on the north, and then it quickly crosses the equator, and then goes down, and then here, and then goes up again, and comes down again. So, the right answer will be south of the equator, guys. So, he spent most of his time south of the equator. Once again, the equator is this line. So, for example, if you don't have this line, it's gonna be hard to see, like how many times it crosses that line. So that's why it's really important to know, have the right layers open, right? So for example, if you were to, this is a stop where you're like, oh, I'm done for today, then you have to click and save your work, you name it, and then that way when you open it, it's gonna open it at this point. That way you can continue working, right? So let's keep going. So turn off the islands. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, right? So it's in here, and then click bookmarks and click on study area number 1. So go ahead, bookmarks, it's on the top, it's right here. So just know that if you're not sure what something means, you can just hover over it, and then it will give you a quick description. So here's bookmarks, and I already have study area 1, 2, 3, and 4. So click on study area number 1. And the question is, what happens to your map? So as soon as you click it, let's see what happens. So what did it happen? So your map moved into a specific position, right? That's what a bookmark is. Once you find the right size of something that you wanted to show, you can bookmark it, right? And then take you zoom in. So what happened? Um, so it's really up to that. It went smaller, so in more detail. So that'll be letter A. So turn on the stops. So now we're gonna see where he stops, right? So he that's where he started, but obviously it took a long time to do all the traveling, right? Because we talked about in the presentation that he used the wind on his favor, so it took a lot longer than So we're gonna go ahead and turn on his stops right here. And then we're gonna have red starts that where he stopped, right? So question 9: what directions is Maligan have to sail to reach these islands? So where he had to reach northeast, north, southeast, or southwest. So he starts right here, and then he went. Remember, he went west, so he had to go south, right? Because he couldn't go straight because there's bodies of land, so he had to go around it. So he had to go south, west, right, all around. So that answer would be D, southwest, right? What is the name of the group of islands in this stop? So what is the name? So uh, islands on the equator. So I will say this one. Says so Cape Verde Island, Cape Verde. So it's in here, right? This island's near the equator, off of Africa, right? It just took me a minute, right? What is the name of the group of islands? Like I said, Cape Verde Islands. So let's get going. And so now there's gonna be some questions about the drift and the wind, and then you have to trim some layers, right? So just letting you know, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. So I stop at question 11, but the other ones are gonna be very similar to that. There's I believe 27 questions, guys, that you need to answer. So I did a little less than half of that. But just know that you have to be looking at your map, be looking at your directions, and then you have to go hand to hand and then write the directions down on in a Google Doc or whatnot. All right, guys. So I hope you guys found this helpful. This is just to get you started. Like I said, I'm not gonna be heavily grading those. Like you have to get those right answers. No, the most important to me is for you to get familiar with the software, where bookmarks is, where this is at, like how do you turn on a layer, how do you turn off a layer, how do you see the map, right? So that's what is more important to me. So I'm going to be posting this into Power School to help you um, through the start of this mapping lesson. Module 1, Lesson 1, Maligan crosses the Atlantic Ocean.